Welcome to a new live broadcast, everybody. Today we are going to be talking about the Samsung Galaxy Note 8. I'm going to give you my update, and also I'm going to be talking to you about a really cool product from Humax. A big thank you to everyone who's tuning in for the live broadcast. So let's get things underway. A big hello to everybody. I didn't know what time was best to do this live broadcast. It seems that whatever time of day I choose, I can't please everyone. So I'm trying to please maybe the UK audience a little bit more this time, or the mid-morning to lunchtime audience in the USA, or perhaps other times in other countries can tune in as well. It really is just so difficult to choose an appropriate time to live broadcast. So I'm really mixing things up over the last couple of weeks just to gauge what the best time to do these live broadcasts are. So anyway, a big thank you to everyone who's tuning in. Peter Westerlund from Sweden, just eating his dinner. Hello to you, Peter. I hope you're having a nice meal, by the way. I have got so much to talk to you about today. The main topic, which is going to come in the latter part of this broadcast, is going to be about this. Let me just unlock it. My Samsung Galaxy Note 8. Now, admittedly, I actually opened that first go with my fingerprint and I thought I hit the camera. So that has been proving a little bit of a problem where the fingerprint sensor is. Still getting used to it. Somebody else actually on social, I think it was, or it might have been a comment. I think it was a comment in the last broadcast, said that you should hold it with this hand and then just open it with the other hand, which saves you having to overstretch and do this balancing act, which is very true. So I'm trying to retrain my brain to do that. But I'm going to give you more of an update on my experience 24 hours after unboxing the Note 8 as to how I'm getting on a little bit later on in this video. Now, before I do some information about the Humax product, which I've been really enjoying testing, this is going to be sort of my review of the Humax FVP-5000T. Before I do that, I want to actually just give you a little bit of an update. I'm going to put a link down in the chat area there. A lot of you may not know this, but I also have other channels. I have the Geek Vlogs channel. I used to run Daily Tech TV. I also have a luxury lifestyle channel. Now, luxury lifestyle has now been rebranded completely today to Watch Lifestyle. So the URL is down in the chat. The reason I did the rebranding is quite simple, really. I was covering luxury brands and I looked back over what I'd been publishing over the previous months, and a lot of it was my love of watches and timepieces, mainly mechanical watches, but other timepieces as well. And that took up probably, I would say, about 75 to 80% of the content. Yes, some of the watches were luxury, high-end brands. Some of them were more affordable and more attainable. I love Swatch watches. I love Casio G-Shock watches as well. I've just got a love for timepieces. So it made sense to rebrand that to Watch Lifestyle. So if you do want to check that out, it's youtube.com/Watch Lifestyle. Also Watch Lifestyle on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram as well, maybe with a couple of underscores in one of them because it had already gone. But please do check that out and subscribe if you are interested in watches. I'm working on new content for the other channel, and that'll be up online very soon. The channel is already there with all of the back catalogue of luxury lifestyle videos, but certainly that will be coming very soon. The other bit of homework or sort of information I want to give you before I get onto the Humax product is, of course, as always, I will answer as many questions as I can in the latter part of the video from the comment section. Of course, when we get onto the two products, more questions will come in. The super chat is there. If you want your comment or question highlighted, then you can use super chat, which is purely optional. I've also got a GoFundMe page. This is purely for the iPhone 10 device fund now, because I managed to get the Note 8 funded by two sponsors. So if you do want to take part in that, in return, and again it's purely optional, so you don't have to go to the GoFundMe page, but if you do want to go there, in return, in the iPhone 10 video, you will get a shout out and a credit within the video. If you want to see how that plays out, check out my original Note 8 unboxing and you'll see how that works. So anyway, here we go. This is the Humax product first. So this is the FVP-5000T. This is the product box. This is a 1 terabyte Freeview recorder, and it's got a lot of features in it. It's got obviously record, pause and rewind live TV. It's also got smart search. It's got mobile apps as well. You can record up to 500 hours on the 1 terabyte hard drive, 100 free Freeview channels, 15 HD channels, a 7-day scroll back on TV, Wi-Fi built in, and a whole lot more. This is what the product packaging looks like. If I go to this side here, if you're in the UK, because this is probably only relevant to the UK, but if I go to this side here on the box, this gives you an idea of some of the channels that are audio connections. We've also got optical audio to boost the signal even further. Jack in. Now I've noticed some smoother as well. So anyway, back to the Humax. 1 terabyte of storage, which is enough for up to 500 hours of recording. If you're going to record in HD, that will definitely sort of decrease. You will get less of a recording capability with it, or recording capacity. The on-screen user interface on this is very, very good indeed. Extremely good. I've been so pleased with it, and I can't really fault it, especially now we can sort of rewind TV as well on these things. They've done such a good job of improving that user interface over the past sort of few years, and it really has caught up. It's a nice guide, a nice way of navigating both the programs and the guide, and also a nice way of navigating what you've actually recorded as well. So that is the Humax box. Really good. This is a new model as well, slight redesign, but really up to date and a great option. It's going to save you a lot of money instead of paying those monthly fees to the likes of Sky and of course Virgin Media. I know some people that actually subscribe to Sky and pay almost for Sky Q, this is, and in some cases over, actually, sort of round about £100 a month. That is a lot to pay for your television service. Obviously, people find value in sort of other things. So if you're really heavily into watching like Sky movies, then great. You know, it is a personal choice, but I personally think £100 a month, or even sort of £50 a month upwards to pay for television is a lot. There are so much better ways you can get your entertainment, like watching YouTube. There you go. Now, before we move on to the Note 8, which I'm really looking forward to talking about because I've now used this for 24 hours. Before we move on to this, let's jump back into the chat and see what questions we've got. I'm now really happy to say that the data throughput has now jumped up. I can see the curve on my screen over here. The stream health is looking good. So it was that backup that was causing issues. So let's scroll back and just have a look at some of the comments here. Handy Lou says, Dave, I'm waiting for your new vlog. I don't vlog anymore. I just find it so time consuming. Sometimes I will do a behind the scenes video, but I'm full on work. 6:30 AM normally, all the way through till around about 10 PM. I'm full on working, so much working at the moment. So it's going to be a long time wait if you're waiting for a vlog. But never say never. Naneem Sri Harsha Sharma asks, is Samsung Note 8 better than iPhone 8 Plus? I will come on to that in a moment. I will answer that question for you when we move on to talking about the Note 8. That will get answered. S Baggins, hi Dave, you started without me. Sorry, I'm glad you're here now. Very glad you're in the live broadcast now. And we've also got somebody here talking about Sky. Stimpy, I have Sky Q and we pay £135 a month. Wow, that is a lot. As long as you get the value out of it, I'm not judging you, as long as you get the value, then that's great, but that is a big outlay each month. Sky Q is very good though, amazing system. Hafid Marzouk says, hi Dave, like your new way of reviewing products, But have you taken a final decision about the Note 8? Again, I'll come on to that in a short while. How is the battery life in the first 24 hours? Right, it seems to be a lot of questions coming in about the Note 8. So let's get on with the Note 8. My first 24 hours, and we'll start with Audi's question. How is the battery life? This had one charge. It's really overexposed on the screen there. But anyway, this had one charge, and I stopped charging at round about 8 PM last night, and I've used it quite extensively throughout the day, doing lots of photo tests, of which some I've posted to Twitter. And we are now at 6 PM, so I would say roughly about 20 to 22 hours of use. Not heavy use, I would say medium use, and I'm on 73% battery life. I think that speaks for itself. So medium use, 73% left. I think that is very, very good indeed. Have I made my final decision about the Note 8? It comes from Hafed. This is looking very promising. I haven't made a final decision yet. I'm going to be using it for at least a week to 2 weeks before I make a final decision on whether this is going to become my daily driver. But certainly, let's just stop that screen from sleeping. Certainly, it is looking very, very promising. I just want to go into my device management here and into display and stop that screen time out, because that's going to be frustrating for everyone. There we go. Let's switch that. And I'm still finding my way around everything, but most of it's really intuitive as well. I'm finding it very, very intuitive. Somebody else asked a little bit earlier, iPhone 8 Plus or Samsung Galaxy Note 8. Now, back on the channel about 2 weeks ago, I did my iPhone 8 Plus video, and I was really disappointed. And it wasn't the hardware that let the iPhone 8 Plus down, it was the software and iOS 11. I was having so many problems with apps crashing, sort of stutters when I was rotating the screen, even YouTube crashing all the time, and I use that a lot on my smartphone. And I even had a problem with email when I was using the Mail app on the iPhone 8 Plus and my iPhone 7 Plus, which is still a nightmare. I would select multiple emails to delete and it would crash every single time, and I'd have to quit the app, start it up again, wait for the delay while it started up. Even that was excruciating, and that's an over exaggeration. That was frustrating, I should say, and it's just not good. It's just not good at all. And for the iPhone 8 Plus, it was really hindered by the software experience. So is this better than the iPhone 8 Plus? In my mind, yes, it's been a much more fluid experience just 24 hours in. So that says something, coming from somebody who was always termed as being an Apple fanboy, and indeed used Apple products or Apple iPhone from the first generation all the way through to the iPhone 7 Plus, which has been the last one so far that I've kept. So very, very impressed so far. Chris Watson says, I have 4 boxes around the house, all the channels except movies, and pay £48 per month. Hard negotiations. That's very true with these services, even with your mobile phone contracts nowadays. But with TV, especially Sky and Virgin, if you are finding it hard to meet your monthly payments, or you're finding it's lacking value, you can normally negotiate that price down. It does take a while. You have to be patient and polite, but if you spend sort of half an hour on the phone, you can normally negotiate those things down. Stimpy, would you recommend the phone to a teenager, as it's a lot of money? You know what? I would recommend a smaller smartphone to a teenager. This is a lot of glass and it's very top heavy. I think this is very breakable unless you've got really responsible teenagers. I've got 2 children. Both have gone past those sort of teenage years now. And we had quite a few broken smartphones. Let's put it that way. And I know they're probably not watching. And admittedly, it wasn't both of them. Too much information, but you know, we went through broken smartphones, and I've seen a lot of parents complain about their kids breaking smartphones. This is quite big and cumbersome. I would probably look at something a little bit smaller, unless you can fully trust them. If you can fully trust them, this is a flagship device. It is amazing. But if you're looking for something more affordable, the Moto Z2 Play, amazing smartphone. I did my video about that about a month ago now, I think it is, or might only be 3 weeks ago, but I did my video on that on the channel. Do search it out. AMOLED screen, really good performance, mid-range phone, half the price of this. So perhaps that would be more suitable for a younger user. Audi123000, do you feel that the iPhone is falling behind Android phones speed-wise? Well, I don't think it's falling behind speed-wise. I think the iPhone's still very relevant. This is my iPhone 7 Plus. The actual hardware is by no means falling behind speed-wise. It's just hindered by iOS 11. If I put this back to iOS 10, it would be a lot more palatable, a lot better to use. So I think Apple just need to refine and refocus and get that user experience back up to a higher percentage of satisfaction. So I don't think it's falling behind in that aspect. Darren Shelley, do you think you're going to miss iMessage? I thought I was going to miss iMessage a lot, but I've transitioned across to using Google Allo and Duo, and also WhatsApp on occasion, but mainly Allo and Duo. Allo for text messages, Duo for video conferencing and sort of video chat, and I've just told everybody to contact me there rather than use iMessage. So if they send me a text message with a photo in, it's going to cost them. They have been warned to use those other messaging services. Darren Shelley, and would I miss Find My Friends? There is a Find My Android phone app. Forget what it's called, but it's definitely something where you can locate your smartphone. It might be a Samsung sort of integrated service, but there is something where you can locate it, and it does tell you the last location before the battery died as well, which is really very, very good. Chris Watson, I'm with you, Dave. Always had iPhones, now definitely moving to the Pixel 2 XL and really looking forward to it. I was really looking forward to the Pixel 2 XL as well, Chris, but I'm really worried about the screen issues. A lot of people having issues with it, but I do still intend to get one in. Hopefully it's not a big issue. Hopefully it will still really perform well. The camera on it looks amazing, really amazing. I had about 30 minutes hands-on time with the Pixel 2 XL and I was very, very impressed, apart from the screen quality. If you can look past that, I think you'll be very pleased with it though, because the camera performance looks amazing. DA305 Alive, do you feel after your experience that Android has caught up with iOS as a whole? I think iOS has fallen way behind, really has, in customization terms. Even the control center, what a mess, absolute mess. I think Android is certainly become a very mature operating system. I really enjoyed it on the Pixel 2. It was really nice, a lot different to this, but the beauty of something like this, and the Pixel 2 and Pixel 2 XL and other Android smartphones, is if you don't like the experience, you can put a custom launcher on. I have got Action Launcher on here. I've yet to try it, but I will be trying it. Stimpy, we'll take a couple more questions, and I just want to come back to my experience so far. Stimpy, what do you think about the LG V30? The LG V30 looks amazing. Really good sort of camera features. Complicated interface, nice software if you can sort of get to love LG's skin that they put over the top, but again you can put a custom launcher on it if you don't like it. The one thing that's put me off the LG V30 is there's a slight green tint to the photos and videos that you take. Paul Phillips, does a case interfere with using the sides on the Note 8? No, it doesn't. I've still got my quick access to the slide in apps from the side, so no, it doesn't interfere at all. This is a Spigen case. It's just a very simple case, and I've got one of these wet applicated screen protectors on one of the clear film screen protectors, not a glass one, and it sits just underneath the side of the case, so it hasn't lifted up. Thankfully, touch wood, that was a concern of mine. So anyway, before I take any more questions, I just want to let you know how I've been getting on with this. App wise, I've been using Brave as a browser. I've been using Flamingo for Twitter, and it's been working very, very well. Great Twitter client, really enjoying that. I've also been using the Google apps, Google range of apps here, YouTube Studio, the YouTube app, also Google Home, the Play Store, Allo and Duo, all of which work absolutely fine. And then I've also been using, of course, Instagram. If I just slide across to my Instagram feed here, this is my feed, and the Instagram app is amazing on this large screen. And of course, I mentioned Instagram and Google Photos, and they all sort of encompass the use of the camera. And the camera on this has really impressed me, both the front-facing camera for portraits or selfies, and also the rear-facing camera, which does this portrait type mode. called Live Focus, I think it is on here, where it blurs out the background. And I've been really impressed both with the way it blurs out the background, so it isolates the subject matter, but also the amount of detail that it seems to gather in the main subject and in the surrounding areas as well if you're taking a wide angle shot. Very, very impressed. 2 cameras on the back and they work absolutely superbly. I think the camera outperforms the iPhone 7 Plus. I think it's on par with the iPhone 8 Plus, which saw slight improvements. Can't comment really at the moment with it in sort of combinate or in comparison to the Pixel 2 and Pixel 2 XL. I would say the Pixel 2 probably just beats this with regards to dynamic range. But it's all about the person behind the lens, how you compose the shot, how you light it, that makes the photo captivating. It's not always about the actual camera and the gear that you're using. Very important fact there. But I do think dynamic range wise, the Pixel 2 just pips this a tiny bit, but it is very, very close. So anyway, let's take a look and see what questions we've got in here. Darren Shelley, do you think Android is as safe as iOS in terms of security? Yeah, I'm sure it is. It doesn't concern me a great deal, and there are apps that you can install if that does concern you. Stimpy, which is better, Note 8 or S8 Plus? They're both the same, really. They really are. This is a little bit more angular, sort of bit more sort of squared corners, a little bit softer on the S8 Plus. Cameras are the same. S8 Plus doesn't have the S Pen, which I have been using to annotate on the top of some photos that I've then posted to Instagram, so I found that useful. If you don't need the S Pen, then I would go with whichever you can get cheaper, which will probably be the S8 Plus. Harry K says, hi Dave. Hello to you, Harry. Thanks for tuning in. I think I also saw Darren Gator in the chat as well. Hello to you, Darren. Thanks for tuning into the live broadcast. We've also got a cool name here. Very cool name here. I gave in and sent the iPhone 8 Plus back and bought a Note 8. Takes a bit of getting used to it, but I love it. Very, very cool choice. And I sort of feel the same. I sort of wanted to keep hold of the 8 Plus, but it was just that user experience. It was iOS 11 that killed it for me and made me look elsewhere. Russell Jones, hi Dave, I've been an ardent Android user but have recently picked up an iPad Pro 12.9 due to the lack of nice Android tablets, which are indeed lacking. I found iOS 11 on the iPad to be very stable. Is it different on the phone? Well, I've heard mixed sort of experiences. For myself, I've got an iPad Pro 10.5 with iOS 11 in, and it's full of bugs and full of issues. Not as bad as the iPhone. The iPhone is far worse, but I still get issues with apps crashing, with rotation errors, and also the same sort of mail app as well. And that was set up as a brand new iPad, a new restore, rather than restoring it from a backup. So I think it is a mixed sort of range of experiences. Perhaps it depends on the third-party apps that the user's got installed. But certainly I haven't had a good experience on either with iOS 11. Cool name here says, battery life not as good as iPhone 8 Plus, though PS I hated iOS 11 as well. The feeling is mutual. Europile, with Samsung you have the Knox security, which is very secure. Well said, my friend. That is a very good point. There is the Knox security built in to the Note 8, so really good point there. You have got that built-in security. David Hepworth says, I have an iPhone 8 Plus and get around 10 hours screen on time compared to 6 hours with Android phones. iOS has good battery optimization. I do agree with that. I do agree. It was very bad with iOS 11, but with an update, the battery life for me seemed to sort of level out. Cool name here, as soon as the iPhone 10 comes out, all the other iPhones will look outdated. I sort of know what you mean, but that notch is not good. It will be the differentiating sort of factor in the design. You'll definitely be able to tell when somebody is using an iPhone 10, but wow, I can't get around that notch. It really does bother me, and the way people are going to, or developers are going to have to implement it in their software design. Chris Bryson says, hi Dave, are you still using the Pixel 2? I mentioned this in my broadcast the other day. The Pixel 2 is being swapped out because it had some faults with the microphone and also the camera. So they are swapping that out. So I will have it back, hopefully in time for the Pixel 2 XL videos as well, so I can sort of do a side by side. Stimpy says, is the iPhone 7 Plus a good phone? I'm trying to pick a phone and it's so hard. Yeah, the 7 Plus is fine. I've still got my 7 Plus here and it still works absolutely fine, you know, apart from those iOS 11 sort of issues. But hardware wise, it's pretty much the same as the iPhone 8 Plus or iPhone 8. You're just going to get a slight improvement in the camera and the speed. But it's all about how the software is implemented in the phone that is the issue for me. But it is still a great piece of hardware. Chris Watson says, what messaging app are you using on Android? I covered that a little bit earlier. I'm using Google's Allo for text and Duo for video messaging. And Harry K agrees the notch is terrible. Yes, indeed it is. So anyway, my closing thoughts on the Note 8. Not the last video I'm going to do about the Note 8, but certainly my sort of closing thoughts for this broadcast are that I've installed all of the apps I use on iOS, including things like PayPal, Adobe Fill and Sign, my banking app. I've also got my security apps in a folder as well, and my smart home apps for things like my smart thermostat and my lighting, my Nanoleaf Aurora, Philips Hue, etc. I've also got some utilities installed, which are things like Dropbox, 1Password, Authenticator, and my Orbi system for my Wi-Fi. And then all of the Google apps in there as well. The app tray is really nice and accessible. Oh, one thing I didn't mention is the always on display. So I have got, if it's going to come on, there we go. We've got the time always on the display with notifications as well, which are really easy to get into. It's not unlocking. There we go. Oh, it's gone straight into Bixby. I must have tapped the Bixby button, which I have not yet used. I haven't used Bixby, which is sort of Samsung's equivalent of a personal assistant. I've been sticking to
Hi, I'm your Google Assistant.
To the Google Assistant. So that's what I've been using mainly. Just for those of you who missed it as well, I'm in love with Flamingo. The Flamingo Twitter client is amazing. Really very, very pleased that I picked that up. Now, in between now and the next update I'll give you on the Note 8, I will be trying Action Launcher. I might also try Nova Launcher, not sure at this stage, but after 24 hours I am very, very pleased and impressed. A solid piece of hardware, really great build quality, really impressed with those cameras as well. Still considering whether to do a 4K video test and publish that to the channel. Maybe I'll do that if time allows me in the future. What other questions have we got? Darren Shelley, is there any way of going back to a previous iOS? Yes, there is. You have to find the IPSW restore file, which are available online. Make sure you get it from a reputable source though, and then you can restore by connecting it to your computer and doing it through iTunes. Stimpy, what's the next phone you're going to unbox on the channel? It will probably be the Pixel 2 XL. I think that's the next one that's coming in. Or if the iPhone 10 beats that particular device into the studio, I'm still trying to find a way of funding that. I have got that GoFundMe campaign. I'm still looking for a sponsor. It's so hard picking up these devices, but I'm going to find a way. There is going to be a way I'm going to get an iPhone 10 in, hopefully in the first batch as well. So it might be the iPhone 10 next, who knows. Europile, did you switch the resolution to QHD? I think, oh, I've had a little notification come up on my screen there. What was that question again? I've lost it. Did I switch the resolution to QHD? I think it's 1080p out of the box. Yeah, I discovered that quite early on and switched it to QHD. Didn't see a lot of difference, but I'm sure it did make a difference. You know, it probably did sharpen things up a bit, but I didn't see a notable difference straight away. I didn't like go, oh wow, you know, that's made a big difference to my viewing experience. Jacob S, what do you think about the retail price? Not sure whether you're referring to the Note 8 retail price, which is £869 in the UK. I think that's a lot of money. I think it should be £699. With regards to the iPhone 10, starts I think 999 if I'm correct in the UK, and goes up to 1149 for the higher capacity version. Wow, over £1,000 for a smartphone. That is absolutely crazy. David James, will you be comparing the iPhone 10 to the Note 8? Yes, I most definitely will. Mainly the camera performance. I'll also be obviously commenting on how iOS 11 behaves on the iPhone 10. So there'll definitely be some comparison, but not a direct comparison. Shanghai Chica, are you going to keep the Note 8? It looks most likely I will make that decision probably in about a week's time. Ryan Barkley, any lag on the Humax, as I know you had a FreeSat box which lagged. Going back about 2 years, I had a FreeSat box which started off very fast and then started lagging. I have since actually done a review on one of the newer FreeSat boxes from Humax. No issue at all with that becoming slower so far. And then this one, the new one, which is the Freeview box, the FVP-5000T 1TB Freeview box. You can get this in a 500 gig version and also in a version without any recorder in it for a lot cheaper. And so far I haven't had any slowdown on this, but it is quite new. I've only been testing it for about a week to 10 days, but no slowdown so far on this. I think they're getting much better at optimizing the software on their boxes. There's nothing worse than getting a really good experience out of the box and then it becoming slow over time. That happens with smartphones as well. Apple, it doesn't seem to happen on. I haven't had any slowdown really over time in comparison to day 1 to maybe day 365. I have heard reports that some Android phones do slow down over time. I'm hoping that doesn't happen with the Note 8. I've heard good things about the Pixels, the original Pixel and Pixel XL, actually staying up with their original speed even a year later. So that should be good for the Pixel 2 and Pixel 2 XL to be a really good performer a year on. So hopefully it's sort of an optimization that Google are making with the Android operating system. Stimpy, is the 6S Plus still worth buying? It's okay. We have got a 6S Plus in our sort of friend circle and it's still okay, but definitely not on iOS 11. It will chug along on iOS 11, so keep it on iPhone 10. Ryan Barkley, should I buy a Note FE or a Note 8? I skipped the FE, the fan edition. Wasn't a big fan of it, so I would probably go for the Note 8, unless it's a big saving. Big saving. And the last question we're going to take is from David James. Have you tried the S Pen on the Note 8? If so, what are your impressions? I have used it for actually annotating on photos that I then shared on Instagram, on my Instagram stories. Follow me at Geekanoids. And I found it to be really good. I really like the pen. In Instagram, you've got less control over the fineness of the tip, so I mainly used the camera app, then went into the gallery app, and then annotated with a finer pencil, much finer detail in the actual sort of gallery photo editor. So I found that a lot easier to use. So anyway, that is it for this video. Thank you again to everyone who tuned in. I'm sorry I couldn't answer all of your questions. I think I answered pretty much all of them. I might have missed a few, but please do tune in again for another broadcast in a couple of days. Hopefully this sort of time of day is a little bit better for doing the live broadcasts. As always, give me some feedback in the comment section. Tweet me as well if there's a preferable time of day. But as I said before, I can't please everyone. In closing, if you're looking for an alternative to paying a subscription fee for your television, these Freeview boxes from Humax and the FreeSat boxes are well worth checking out. You still get HD channels and recording on them, all subscription fee. So you've got to pay for the box. They start around about £99 for some of the lower end models, and then as the capacity goes up you pay a little bit more. I think this 1TB one comes in at I guess about £199, something like that. But really a very good and viable option. And also, just to recap, the Galaxy Note 8, which I am thoroughly enjoying. Really pleased I picked one up, even though it's been out for a while, and I'll be bringing you another update over the coming weeks as to how I'm getting on with it and my experience with different launchers as well. So that's it for this video. Hopefully the next one will be the Pixel 2 XL or the iPhone 10. We will wait and see. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you next time.